Okay, so we're back with a new video. Fortunately, you guys seem to love the last video I posted. As I said in the last video, I thought it would do well just because the title, the thumbnail, everything about it seemed to have like the it factor that just people love on YouTube. So today is actually December 31st, 2022, last day of the year. 11 months of the brand, pretty much. We've been doing this brand since January 27, 2022. So, you know, it's pretty much the 1 year. So I wanted to recap how we went ahead and did 6 figures our first year, over 6 figures. From what I've gathered watching a few different videos and things like that, 6 figures on a clothing brand is a big deal, like first year. I've been doing e-commerce since 2017. I've had a few brands, a few dropshipping stores along the way, and multiple of them since I've been doing this for over 5 years. They've hit over 6 figures, even 7, and yeah. So just having this brand, this is my second like actual brand where like everything's in-house, team, everything's like custom. So my first one was in 2020. That one did well over 6 figures as well. That was my baby for over 2 years. It was, you know, this thing that I created and took care of it like it was my baby. Unfortunately, after a few Facebook ad issues and things that just came along the way, and then Thursday being born, it kind of came to the second place in my life in terms of priority, and now Thursday is obviously the priority. So yeah, we did 6 figures, but to be honest, although we're extremely grateful and happy and excited at the fact that we were able to do that in the first year, it's not something where I'm like, oh yeah, 6 figures first year. Like, it's something that once you do it for over and over, it just kind of becomes like a standard. But yeah, I wanted to talk about how we got over that 6-figure mark, but I also want to talk about why our revenue was kind of capped and we weren't able to go beyond what we could have done realistically with the influencers that we had and things that we had set up. As I said in the last video, one of the greatest things that helped us do these numbers in the first year was just the fact that we have a good product, people love it, it's good quality. It's a heavy hoodie. Once people feel it, they like it, they come back. Our return customer rate at some point was 30%, which is insane. Our first 3 drops were just like people coming back to buy because they love the product so much. So one of the things that you definitely want to do if you want to build a long-term brand is you want to make sure that your quality, your product is there. Not just that, but the design. People like to go out and get compliments. We get DMs every day of people wearing the hoodie and being like, hey, like I was at the supermarket and the cashier just asked what happens after Thursday type of thing. So it's a very interactive design that people always point out. Even when I wear the hoodie to this day, every single time I wear it, I'm guaranteed to get at least one person, either a compliment about how cool it is or someone just poking fun at the saying like, oh, what happens after Thursday? Or why didn't she love you past Thursday? Things like that. Yeah, I think the most important part is you have to get your product right. You have to make a product that people love. You have to make the quality stand there. And once you have that, we can move on to the second thing that helped us, which is our marketing approach. We just got the product to influencers, the right influencers. Because if you're doing a clothing brand, I know for certain things, meme pages and things like that will work. But if you're doing a clothing brand, you have to go after influencers who have cult following type of following. Influencers that people look at as inspiration for fashion, because they can be inspiration in other realms, but here fashion is what matters, honestly. So just go after influencers who are cool, who have a cool vibe, who have a cool fashion aesthetic, who have a cool fashion style. Go through the comments. People, if you see people asking where'd you get this hoodie, where'd you get these sweatpants, that's the type of influencer you want to be working with. You don't want to be working with just a TikTok dancer influencer who just does cool dances and goes viral, but nobody cares about their style or they have no style, because at the end of the day, it's not about how many people are seeing your product, but about the people that are seeing your product. Can they become potential customers type of thing. So you're much better off giving your product to 10 influencers who have a cult following fashion-wise and people go crazy over things, instead of sending it to 200 just TikTok dancers or things like that. Another thing that we noticed that we picked up on quick was people love the Pinterest style content. So shooting iPhone content that looks trendy, and cool cars, cool neighborhoods, cool things. Not corny white, not like setting up a camera like the one that I'm shooting this and doing like a professional picture. People love to see things that look like they just happened, and they look very in the moment, like it's really happening in real life, and it's not like set up a set. You got the cool car, you got the cool house just for the shoot. People like to make it they like for the picture to feel as if that's really what's happening in the picture. You know, it's a cool car in a cool neighborhood, and some guy or girl's wearing the hoodie drinking coffee, and their friend just snapped the picture with even a little blur. Doesn't even look that crazy. And that's, if you go through our Instagram, you'll see that our iPhone pictures perform so much better. So 2023, we're going to double down on just Pinterest type content. Our Pinterest is crazy nice. We have a nice vibe there. We just dump all our iPhone pictures there and people love it. So we had almost over 1 million impressions per month on Pinterest. Then we had to like step back because we're planning 2023. But yeah, Pinterest is crazy if you want to get your vibe going, not only for inspirational purposes, but also to get your brand out there. So now let's talk about the things that just trolled us this year, that stopped us, that stunted our growth, that didn't let us go and become the next Off-White in 1 year. I'm kidding. But yeah, our biggest issue honestly was just our lack of stock. Every time we get stock, we'd sell out. We had this one time where we're basically out of stock. We had like 2 hoodies on the site, and then David Dobrik posted on his Snapchat story. We had a ton of people, so that was the one time that we had pre-orders on, just because we had to capitalize on the moment. And we had inventory coming in a week, so we're like, look, we're about to have inventory. Why don't we just run a pre-sale, a pre-order, and let people buy? Because obviously it's things that may happen one time and may never happen again. Turns out that he has posted over 20 times to this day, which is crazy. He loves the brand. But yeah, our lack of stock, our lack of inventory, our lead times of 3 weeks, month and a half for hoodies. When you're doing things with such attention to detail, you have to keep the same garment. The quality has to stay the same. You have to deal with lead times, and that's why for the past 2 months of 2022, we fully just focus on getting summer going, spring going, even fall going. Like the knit sweaters that I posted on Instagram, that's for next year fall, because next year, like this year, our tote bags for summer that were supposed to drop in June ended up dropping in September, which is not even summer anymore. So a lot of the things that went wrong this year had to do with lead times and missing product release dates, and dropping late and not having enough inventory. I know if we would have had more inventory, more access to creating new products faster, we would have done at least 5 times the revenue that we did. We were just literally so limited by what we had in inventory in-house. So this year, that's why since October, we're like, look, we're not gonna make the same mistakes 2023. We're gonna start going at it already. Like spring's already in production. We have some of summer in production. We have some of fall already like sampled and ready to go. So yeah, one of the things that I learned this year is that you have to think 3 months ahead, even 6 months ahead when you're doing this fashion thing. And that's one of the things that limited us this year, but it was also our first year kind of learning this, going through it, figuring it out, going to the factories, learning what a pattern is, learning how to sample. Camera died. But as I was saying, yeah, so we had to learn how to do all those things, so that's why you can't be too mad about it. It's the first year. We had to learn, get used to, get accustomed to the things, the terms. But one of the things for 2023 is we want to make sure that we have all the systems in place, everything in place. So obviously we're not there yet, but if Kylie Jenner, Justin Bieber decide to post the garments, we want to make sure that we know how to go about the situation, and we know that we want to be able to capitalize on the situation as good as possible, because those are the things that can make or break a brand. So yeah, I think that's a good recap of how we got to our revenue this year, why we didn't do 5 times more, which honestly I think it's so realistic. We couldn't. Most of the time we were sold out, which is good because it builds hype. But a lot of times we did want more inventory to be able to go crazier. So now I know it's New Year's Eve, but we have a shoot. We're shooting the beanies. I'm gonna throw some cool clips here of things we've gotten. But we have that drop in 12 days. So we want to make sure we have everything ready to go. We have some models that want to shoot today. So we're gonna go do that. So I guess I'll bring you guys along so you can see it.
That's how fast we do this one. Done.
It's easy to rip. Clip.